So now I get to officially say hello and welcome you to our webinar on how to overcome obstacles when making those mid-career job transitions. So you see some fun pictures here. So the first set is of myself. And so I just wanted to briefly let you know that I understand what it's like to change careers mid-career because I'm a mid-career career changer. I started off in the hospitality industry, and then while pursuing my business degree, I actually worked at a career center. But once I graduated, I worked as a staff accountant, and accounting was going to be the field that I wanted to get into. But I realized it wasn't a fit for me. So I transitioned into the fitness industry and then finally found my home in higher education in career.
Hi, my name is Rich Grant. I've been a career advisor at SNHU for over 4 years, and I started my career in a corporate environment in several analyst roles. I've also worked on my own as a writer and editor, and then made a big career change into higher education in 2004. Our mission today is to help you make the leap into a brand new career field. It can be a challenge if you're a mid to late career changer, especially without work experience or perhaps limited work experience.
So before we dig a little deeper, let's talk about what we're covering in the webinar today. So today's topics will include tools and resources for assessment and research, as well as tapping into the hidden job market by connecting with others outside the traditional job application process. We're also going to discuss building skills and experience through volunteer roles, freelance and contract work, or even project work. And lastly, how to position yourself through your resume, LinkedIn, and other forms of communication.
Shifting careers can be a real challenge for most of us, and it can be really easy to get stuck in the career change efforts right at the very beginning. Some of the obstacles to getting started might be fear, uncertainty, and lack of knowledge. You might experience barriers, for example, not having any relevant work experience, or being an older job seeker. Through this webinar, we'll present some ideas that will lead to solutions and success.
To get started, it's going to be helpful for us to review some of the most common reasons why someone may choose to make a career change. There are a lot of different motivations, from work-life balance to pursuing a passion, trying to reduce work stress, or maybe it's a combination of those things. So it's really important that you start to give this some thought. And it will help to better inform your career change decisions so that you don't jump into being in one bad situation into another. So if you look, we did compile a small list here. Talks about maybe you're not growing, you're interested in something different. We talked about too much stress. And if there's anything else that comes to your mind, feel free to just have that in the back of your mind as we go through this presentation. So one thing that's important is to spend time on planning and assessing. When you're changing careers, it's going to go a lot smoother and a lot faster if you're moving into something that's a good fit for you. And employers can tell too. If you're applying for a job if you're applying to a job because it's the right fit, or if you're applying to a job just because it's any old job and you need one, they're going to realize. And think about it. What really excites and energizes you? What's your passion? What would you like to do that wouldn't really seem like work for you?
So this image is from a skill assessment. It's called the Nodell's Motivated Skill Card Sort, in which you sort out a deck of cards with names of skills. And then you place them in a matrix with proficiency level along the top, and with how much you either like or dislike using that skill along the left side. Since you likely don't have this deck of cards, what you can do is think about your top skills, and then more importantly, what skills do you really like using? And I guess conversely, what do you not like using? So you might be good at something, but you just don't want to do it anymore. Also, if you don't want to purchase the cards, you might be able to find an alternative skill assessment online. So this is the matrix I was referring to. So when you categorize your skills and think about which ones you're really good at, in combination with what you really like doing, you arrive at what Nodell refers to as your motivated skills. And that's the skills that are in the upper left part of that matrix. The next step is to think about what work settings or what work types of work, would best take advantage of your motivated skills while also avoiding jobs that require skills in the lower right part of the matrix, the ones that you don't really want to do anyway. Now, also about skills, think about your transferable skills and try to identify what those are. Use that as a selling point to employers that you have the core skills necessary to excel in your new career choice. So these skills are transferable from job to job, and think about those skills in these three categories: people, data, and things. So people would involve communicating, teaching, supervising, coaching, things of that nature. Data revolves around record keeping, researching, and compiling data. And then things would be involving operating computers or equipment, hands-on things, assembling, repairing. To give you an example, I work with accounting students primarily. Many of them want to teach. So what I do is I find out what have they done in the areas of coaching, training, mentoring, tutoring. Even creating and giving presentations can be a good transferable skill, because all those things can be transferred to the skills that you would need to teach.
Well, you undoubtedly possess many transferable skills, like Rich was talking about. I'm sure that you have a list of them. You really want to think of which of those skills can be applied in a variety of roles. So there are often other technical skills which employers want to see that you have experience in. Through your research on job boards, career databases, and talking with people, you'll learn what skills and knowledge are important and what ways to gain this knowledge. You could look into continuing education courses, volunteer internship opportunities, or attending professional development workshops. This will not only help you build on your qualifications, but it'll help you to meet people who work within the industry, who can give you tips or advice on how to break into the field. This also allows us to bring up informational interviewing and job shadowing. Both of these involve reaching out to professionals in your field of interest to ask questions about the field and how they broke into the industry, as well as what's expected of these positions. We're going to dig a little bit deeper into all of these concepts later, but just start really thinking about how you're going to address your skill gaps that employers are looking for. Researching and exploring career options. So as you begin to research your career options, you'll find a wealth of information on the ONET Online, which is put out by the U.S. Department of Labor, as well as the Occupational Outlook Handbook. And so that's from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. So these sites and books, if you end up getting them in those forms, but most people use the web today, include knowledge, skills, and abilities required for each profession, as well as the job outlooks for these professions. And they also have something called crosswalks, which will show you other job titles related to your field of interest. So another second option, you could also explore current job openings. That's a great way to get an idea of the requirements in a new career area. You'll learn about the knowledge and skills needed. Some of the suggestions that we like to offer to our students and graduates is to use Career Shift, and you can use that for the search. You can also find contacts at the company to conduct informational interviews with. So that's a great thing about Career Shift. It's not just a job board, it also keeps employee information. But ideally, really use any job board that you're comfortable working with. And we do like to remind students that you also have access to SNHU Recruit, which is powered by Handshake, and that's a job search board exclusive to our students and graduates. And lastly, another great idea is to go to career fairs so that you can talk to an employer face-to-face. You'll often learn more about what local jobs are around in a local career fair around your area, and you can usually get that information at your local career one-stop. All right, we're now going to transition from assessment and career exploration to the mechanics of the job search. However, it can sometimes be an iterative process where you go back to researching and reevaluating your skills. So there's nothing wrong with that. It can just sometimes be a process. All right, so now to start some of that inquiry again. Identify what obstacles may be holding you back. Changing careers is not easy, but guess what? It's not impossible either. Think about it. What are you experiencing or anticipate that you'll run into? Knowing what the potential pitfalls are can help you in executing a successful job search. So we're going to talk about some ways to overcome these obstacles going forward. But just take a look at this list for a moment. See if there's anything that you identify with or anything that we haven't listed that you may identify with. But no one wants to stay focused on a problem for too long. So now we're going to discuss some solutions. While a lot has changed about job searching in our fast-paced technological age today, some things will never change, and that's the need to network, build industry credibility, and gain in-field experience. So those are the big three: network, industry credibility, gaining that in-field experience. 80% of job seekers today landed in their current roles through networking. And being credible is about being taken seriously and dubbed as trustworthy in a particular subject area. The underlying driving force in decision makers is emotion and not logic. Trust is a very powerful emotion. And employers want to hire people they trust, and also people that have proven they can do the job through experience.
As you work on changing careers, be aware that you might need to take smaller steps. This graphic is from an article written by Richard Bowles, and you might recognize that name. Mr. Bowles wrote the book, What Color is Your Parachute? Now, in this article, he gives the example of an accountant working for a television network who wants to become a reporter on new medical developments. Now, if you look at where the arrow is, called the difficult path, it's tough to do when you don't have any work experience in either the industry or the job type. It's not impossible, just very challenging. And sometimes you can pull that off if you have a good solid network of contacts and you know how to leverage your network. So Richard Bowles suggests to keep some aspect of your previous experience to be a viable candidate, either staying within your industry or within the job type. Also, consider, you can change career paths without changing employers. It's definitely worth pursuing if your current employer is open to employees moving around within the company. It's sometimes easier to move to a different role within a company that you already know, they know you, they like your work, rather than trying to sell yourself to an employer that doesn't have that history with you. All right, so one of the most important things about as we talk about building your network, as Nicole mentions, one of the first things that we're talking about, you really need to talk with a lot of people. And I usually say to people, don't look for jobs, look for people. Now, of course, don't take that too literally. You want to, of course, be out there looking for jobs, but also broaden your network both in person, as you see in the upper right part of the screen, and then just below that, on your computer, using social media. And that combination will really greatly benefit your job search. Participate in professional organizations in your new field. Contact alumni from SNHU or any previous colleges that you attended. Join LinkedIn groups. Follow people in your career field. You can follow people on both LinkedIn, Twitter, other social media as well. Comment on what they're posting. Find a relevant Twitter chat relevant to your career field. And as you get to know people, take it to the next step. Set up a phone call or a meeting over video, Skype or Zoom or something like that. Talk in greater depth as to, what you want to find out about that career path or that industry, and that will really solidify that connection. It really takes time to build relationships, build up that trust. So really focus on building the relationships, getting to know people, and less focus immediately anyway on finding that new job. Find the people that can really help you. And you might think, I don't have much of a network, but you probably do. Consider your friends, family, consider colleagues or former colleagues. Talk with people. Just talk with as many people as you can. Find out who they can refer you to. Now, getting those referrals is very important. You'll likely find it really challenging to find a job by looking for one using traditional job search methods. That is, focusing most of your time on searching for openings and applying for those openings. It could really turn out to be a frustrating, lengthy process. So the hidden job market refers to jobs that are not broadcast to the general public. Most employers have a high confidence about a new hire if that person is referred by somebody in their network. Because of the large volume of resumes that employers receive, some companies prefer to seek out candidates through their own networks and through their employee referrals. And they might even provide employees with an incentive to refer candidates. So try to get yourself in position to be that referral. How do you do that? Keep in regular contact with people you know, people you've recently met. Try to meet new people. So think about friends, neighbors, coworkers, other people that are in your community. Keep reminding people what you're looking for. Ask your connections about what are they hearing or what are they seeing on their LinkedIn news feeds.
All right. So this next point closes out our discussion about building your network, and it starts to get into building up your credibility. As you talk with people through informational interviews and other networking meetings, you'll begin to build a network of contacts in that field. So by talking with people who are currently working in the field, you're going to gain a much better understanding of an occupation and an industry, and that's going to expand your knowledge and make it easier to enter the field. So to get started, I encourage everyone to just begin making a list of people you know. They don't all need to be related to your career field, but it could be a neighbor, or maybe someone you know on a personal basis, maybe someone you went to college with. Anyone can potentially refer you to the people they know who are working in the industry or job function that you're interested in. Also, here at SNHU, we can help you with identifying contacts for informational interviewing. If you're interested, we'll actually connect you with one of our alumni who works in your career field. Now, when you combine knowledge with your network, the fruition is credibility. Proving yourself through activities and experiences, and having a network of contacts whom you've built trust with, can significantly impact your odds at successfully landing a role in your new career field.
Let's talk now about how to go about gaining experience when either you don't have any experience in a new career field, or maybe you have very little experience. Now, most nonprofit organizations have volunteer positions where you can gain work experience by volunteering. So one place to start is your local United Way. Give a call to your nearest United Way in your community. They might not have anything directly with United Way, but they provide funding for numerous nonprofit organizations in your community, so they might be able to refer you to an agency where you can volunteer. You can also online look at sites like volunteermatch.org, also idealist.org, which is a job site, but they also talk about volunteer opportunities too. Now the second point is sometimes easier to break into a new career field if it's a short-term role. So think about temp and internships. It's less of a risk for an employer in that they get to assess you before committing to hiring you on a regular basis as a regular employee. So temp jobs and internships can sometimes lead to a job with that company, or at the very least, give you the experience and the references to add to your resume. Now, the next point is about working as a freelancer. Great way to show what you can do. You might have to do your first freelance job for either free or very low pay just to get your foot in the door, gain the experience, and gain a positive reference. After your first time though, now you have more experience that you can add to your resume, put it on your portfolio, something to show to get your next freelance job. Contracted work, very similar. So independent contractors are similar to freelancers. Generally they work with one company at a time for an extended and specified period, like a 3-month or 6-month contract. And they're generally paid by the hour. They may be contracting themselves out, or people might be working through a third-party agency and doing contract work as part of that agency. And then finally on this list, project work. Again, similar in nature to freelancing or doing contract work. What I have in mind here, though, is taking on a one-time project, and it could even be done within your own company if your management is open to it. So network within your own company, approach somebody who works within an area where you'd like to build some skills and experience, offer to help on a special project, and that'll get you kind of exposed to people who are working in that field. So as we talk about resumes, and I guess the first thing I'll just draw your attention to the bottom of the screen where we do have some resources, we have webinars, and we have career advisors. So, feel free, and I encourage you to use our resources and our one-on-one help. But as far as the resume, the most important thing I can think of about resumes is that the content needs to be relevant to what you want to do next in your career. Now, this doesn't mean that you necessarily have to have things match perfectly with the job that you're going for, but the information needs to resonate with the recruiter reading it. So whether it's that direct experience or maybe just some skills that you have that might entice that recruiter to bring you in for an interview. So make sure you have the right terminology on your resume. Don't go too far back to older positions that might not have that relevance to what you've done most recently or what you want to do next. You can think about work more broadly as well. So think about volunteer work or even projects that you did in courses within your academic program. And back to that note at the bottom, the other thing too, in addition to helping with resumes and information on our website, for example, there's also cover letter information and help too. So similar to our advice on resumes, your cover letter also needs to be very relevant to what you're looking for and also be very concise and focused. Now, internships can help you build skills and help you network within the company where you're interning. Also talk to your academic advisor if you're still a student here at SNU to see if your program enables you to do a 4-credit internship opportunity. So internships can help you determine whether or not you actually like the industry and the role that you're hoping to jump into as a regular career. You might find you don't actually like that type of work. So that can be a positive thing because it helps you rule things out. Working as an intern may also make you aware of additional opportunities within a company or industry that you didn't know about before. Doing an internship will show prospective employers that you have the practical working experience in your new career field, as well as new knowledge and skills. Internships help expand your professional network and the content of your resume. So the only drawback to an internship is really fitting in the time to make it happen. Especially if you're working already, if you're working full time, it's just finding that time, maybe look at remote, flexible internships, virtual internships. So there are possibilities out there. It's just finding something that is a good fit for your situation.
Some of the most common areas for freelance work, which we're going to get into next, are journalism, writing and editing, computer programming, website design, data analysis, consulting, and photography. But there are also other areas that you can do freelance work too. Even if you're job hunting, you might consider establishing yourself as a freelancer and juggle searching for jobs and building your clientele at the same time. One thing to keep in mind as a freelancer is you still want to build that credibility. And therefore, you want to make sure that you secure the equipment that's necessary for the work. Also, to market yourself as a freelancer, networking is really the key to success, face-to-face and online. Attend seminars, conferences, and other events in your industry. Build your personal brand through your LinkedIn profile, your personal website, and any other social media accounts. Print business cards to have available as you attend professional events and meet people. Even though we have this fast age of technology today, the old-fashioned business card still goes a long way.
So in closing, 3 key aspects to finding a new job in a new career field. It's a combination of your skills, abilities, attributes, attitude. I guess that's more than 3. Having a solid networking, and also knowing how to use it. So have faith in yourself, and that confidence will really show through as you talk with people in your network and as you meet new people in your networking efforts. And that'll all lead to your career success.
Thank you so much for joining us today, everyone. Feel free to follow up with us on the Lunch Bunch. Have a great one.